So without further ado, this chapter is called Refugees. No clouds, the clearest day in a long time, good for healing. I take the power from the sun. It flows through me and from my fingers to the wounded. I use medicine, pastes, and potions where they're all needed. Magic on those with more serious injuries. Skoda and a few others who are struck by the Fomori's fire blood. The warriors are tired, their sleep disturbed. They'll rest later, but most are too edgy to return to their huts straight away. It takes an hour or two for the battle lust to pass. They're drinking quorum right now and eating bread, discussing the battle with demons. I'm fine. I had a full night's sleep, only coming on watch for a short while before the attack. That's my regular pattern on nights when there isn't an early assault. Having tended to the seriously wounded, I wander round the rath in case I missed anyone. I used to think the ring fort was huge, 10 huts contained within the circular wall, plenty of space for everyone. Now it feels as tight as a noose. More huts have been built over the last year to shelter newcomers from the neighbouring villages in our rath. Many of those who lived nearby were forced out of their homes and fled for safety. There are 22 huts now, and although the walls of the rath have extended outwards during the spring, we weren't able to expand by much. The use of magic has wearied me and left me hungry. I don't have much power, nothing like what Bamba had. The sun helps, but it's not enough. I need food and drink, but not quorum. That would make me dizzy and sick. Milk with honey stirred in it will give me strength. Gaul's sitting close to the milk pails. He looks downhearted. He's scratching the skin over his right eye. Gaul was king of the whole Toth years ago, the most powerful man in the region, with command of all the local forts. There was even talk that he might become king of the province. Our land was divided into 4 great sectors, each ruled by the most powerful kings. More of our local leaders had ever held command of the province, or now none of our local leaders had ever held command of the province. It was an exciting prospect. Gaul had the support of every king in our Toth and many of the neighbouring regions. Then he lost his eye in a fight and had to step down. He's not bitter. He never talks about what might have been. It was his fate, and he accepts it. But Gaul's in a gloomy mood this morning. He hates making mistakes. Feeling sorry for the old warrior, I sit beside him and ask if he wants some milk. No, little one, he says with a weak smile. It wasn't your fault, I tell him. It was a lucky strike by the Fomori. Gaul grunts. That should be the end of it, except Conla is standing nearby, a mug of quorum in his hands, boasting of the demon he hit with his spear. He hears my comment and laughs. That wasn't luck. Gaul's rusty as an old goat. Gaul stiffens and stares at Conla. 18 years old, unmarried, Conla's one of the handsomest men in the Toth, tall and lean, with carefully braided hair, a moustache, no beard, fashionable tattoos. His cloak is fastened with a beautiful gold pin, and pieces of fine jewellery are stitched into it all over. Unlike most of the men who wear belted tunics, he favours knee-length trousers. He was the first man in the Rath to wear them, although several have followed his lead. His boots are made from the finest leather, laced artistically with horsehair thongs. He looks more like a king than his father does, and when Con dies, he'll be one of the favourites to replace him. Most of the young women in Toth desire him for his looks and prospects, but he's no great warrior. Everyone knows Conla's an average fighter, and far from the bravest. At least I was here to make a mistake, Gaul growls. Where were you, Conla? Combing your hair, perhaps? I was in the thick of the fighting, Conla insists. I struck a demon. I think I killed it. Aye, Gaul sneers. You hit it with a spear, in the back, while it was running away. He claps slowly. A most courageous deed. Conla hisses. His hand goes for his spear. Gaul snatches his axe. Enough, Con barks. He's been keeping an eye on the pair. He always seems to be at hand when Conla's on the point of getting into trouble. The king steps forward, scowling. Isn't it bad enough that we have to fight demons every night, without battling amongst ourselves too? He questioned my courage, Conla whines. And you called him an old goat, Con retorts. Now shake hands and forget it. We won't have time for quarrels. Be men, not children. Gaul sighs and extends a hand. Conla takes it, but his face is twisted, and he shakes quickly, then returns to the small group of men who are always huddled close around him. As they leave, he starts to tell them again about the demon he speared, and how he's certain the blow was fatal, boasting of great skill and courage. Later, the gate of the Rath is open. The cows and sheep have been let out to graze. Demons can only come at night, gods be thanked. If they could attack by day as well, we'd never be able to graze our animals or tend our crops. We go for a walk. I like to get out of the ring fort when my duties allow, stretch my legs, breathe fresh air. I stroll to a small hill beyond the Rath, from the top of which I'm able to look across the way, across Shonan's River, to the taller hills on the far side. Many of the men have been out to those hills to hunt and fight. I'd love to climb to those peaks and see what the world looks like from them, but it's a journey of many days and nights. No chance of doing that while the demons are attacking. And for all we know, the demons will always be on the attack. I feel lonely at times like these, desperate. I wish Bamba was here. She was more powerful than me and had the gift of prophecy. She died last winter, killed by a demon, got too close to the fighting, struck by a Fomori with tusks instead of arms. It took 2 nights and days for her to die. I haven't learnt any new magic since then. I haven't worked on the spells that I know to keep in shape. Oh, I've worked on the spells that I know to keep in shape, but it's hard without a teacher. I make mistakes. I feel my magic getting weaker when it should be growing every day. Where will it end, Banba? I mutter, eyes on the distant hills. Will the demons keep coming until they kill us all? Are they going to take over the world? Silence. A breeze stirs the branches of the nearby trees. I study the moving limbs in case I can read a sign there, but it just seems to be ordinary wind, not otherworldly, or the voice of Bamba. After a while I bid farewell to the hills and return to my Rath. There's work to be done. The world might be going up in flames, but we have to carry on as normal. We can't let the demons think they've got the beating of us. We dare not let them know how close we are to collapse. After a quick meal of bread soaked in milk, I'll start on my regular chores. Weaving comes first today. I'm a skilled weaver. My small fingers dart like eels across the loom. I'm the fastest in the Rath. My work isn't the best, but it's not bad. I fetch honey from the hives. The bees are Bamba's. She brought them with her when she settled in the Rath many years ago. They're my responsibility now. I was scared of them when I was younger, but not anymore. Nectan returns from a fishing trip. He slaps 2 large trout down in front of me and tells me to clean them. Nectan's a slave, captured abroad when he was a boy. Gaul won him in a fight with another clan's king. He's much a part of our Rath now as anyone, a free man in all but name. I enjoy cleaning fish. Some women hate it because of the smell, but I don't mind. Also, I like reading their guts for signs and omens or secrets from my past. I haven't divined anything from a fish's insides yet, but I live in hope. The women grind wheat in the stone querns to make bread for porridge. Some work on the roofs of the huts, thatching and mending holes. I love to build a hut from scratch, draw a circle in the ground, and raise it up by a level. There's something magical about building. Bamba told me that all unnatural things, clothes, huts, weapons, are all the result of magic. Without magic, she said, men and women would be animals, like all the other beasts. Most of the men are sleeping, but a few are cleaning their blades and discussing the night's battle. It was one of our easier nights. The attack was short-lived, and the demons were few in number. Some reckon that's a sign that the Fomori are dying out or returning to their other world. But they're dreamers. The war with the demons is a long way from over. I don't need fish guts to tell me that. Ficna is working by himself, straightening crooked swords, fixing new handles to axes, and sharpening knives. We're the only clan in the Toth with a smith of its own. This was Gaul's doing when he was king. Most smiths wander from clan to clan, picking up work when they can find it. Gaul figured that if we pay the smith to settle, folk from nearby raths, gathers, and crannogs would come to see us with their weapons and tools that needed repairing, rather than wait for the smith to pass by. And he was right. Our rath became an important focal point for the Toth until the attacks began. The demons put paid to a lot of normal routines. Nobody travels now, unless it's to flee the Fomori. When I get a chance, I walk over to where Ficna is hammering away at a particularly stubborn blade. I watch him silently, playing with a lock of my short red hair, smiling shyly. I like Ficna. He's shorter than most men, and slim, which is odd for a smith, but he's very skilled, stronger than he looks. He swings heavy hammers and weapons with ease. If I could marry, I'd like to marry Ficna. If nothing else, we're suited in size. Maybe it's because of the name Gaul gave me, or perhaps it's a coincidence, but I'm one of the smallest girls in the Rath. But it's not just his size. I like his kind nature, his gentle face. He has a short beard, dark blonde like his hair, which doesn't hide his smile. Most of the men have beards so thick you can't see their mouths, so you never know if they're smiling or frowning. I often dream about being Ficna's wife, bearing his young, fighting demons by his side, but it won't happen. I'm almost of marrying age. My blood came a few months earlier than most girls, but I can never wed. Magic and marriage don't mix. Priestesses and druids lose their power if they love. Sometimes that makes me sad, thinking about not being able to marry. Find myself wishing I could be normal, that the magic would fade from me, leaving me free to wed like other girls my age. But those are selfish thoughts, and I try hard to drive them away. My people need my magic. It's not the strongest in the world, and I'm in dire need of a teacher to direct me, but it's better than having no magician in the Rath at all. Vigna looks up and catches me smiling. He smiles, or I guess catches me staring. He smiles, but not in a teasing way, not like Conla would smirk if he saw me looking at him. You did well with the bees last night, Vigna says in his soft, lilting voice, more like a fairy's than a human's. I feel my face turn red. It wasn't much, I mutter, sticking my big right toe out over the lip of the sandal and stubbing the ground. You're getting stronger, Vigna says. He'll be a powerful priestess soon. We both know that's a lie, but I love him for saying it. I give him a big smile, like a baby having its tummy tickled. When Kira calls me and tells me to give her hand dyeing the wool, do you want me to help you with the weapons? I quickly ask Vigna, hoping for an excuse to stay with him. I can bless the blades, put magic in them, make them stronger. Vigna shakes his head. There's no need. I'm almost finished. I'll work on farming in the afternoon. Oh, I try not to let my disappointment show. Well, if you need me, give me a call. Vigna nods. Thank you, Bec. I will. Simple words, but as I drip strands of wool in the vat full of blue dye, they ring inside my skull for ages, making me smile. In the afternoon, while the men are stirring in their sleep and the women are working on their evening meal, a lookout yells a warning, "Figures to the north." The wrath becomes alert in an instant. Demons have never attacked this early. There's at least 2 hours of daylight left, but we've learned not to take anything for granted. The men are out of their huts and reaching for weapons within seconds. Female warriors throw away their looms, combs, tools, and pots and hurry to the rampart. Those outside the wrath are summoned in. They come hastily, anxiously, driving the animals ahead of them. Con emerges from his hut in the centre of the village, eyes crusty, looking less worried than anyone else. A king should never look scared. He climbs the rampart and strides to the lookout, stares off into the distance. Con shouts at him from the ground. "Demons?" "Doesn't look like it," Con grunts. "Human in shape, but maybe they're dead." The dead often come back to haunt us. The demons get the bodies from dolmens or wedge tombs. They use dark magic to fill the corpses with evil life, sometimes stitching bits from various victims together. I'm not sure why they do it. Maybe some of them can't make bodies of their own, so they have to steal the bodies of the dead. We've gone to all the local tombs that we know of over the last year, burning the corpses, but there are many hidden and forgotten tombs. The demons are always finding new bodies. At times it seems like there's more dead than living in the world. Con watches for several minutes. More of the clan are joining him, shading their eyes with their hands, studying the approaching shapes. I see the more hawk-eyed among them, Ronan, Lorcan, Enna, relax, and I know it's all right, but nobody says anything before Con. It's his place to give the all clear. Finally, Con smiles. "Not to worry about," he said. "They're a human, alive." Calm settles over the wrath, and everyone returns to their normal routine. We're curious about the strangers, but we'll find out all about them in good time. No point standing around guessing when there's work to be done. They arrive half an hour later, ragged and weary from the battle on the road. 4 men, 3 women, and 4 children. We know them. The McAdam. When the demons first attacked, Con and sent an envoy to Cadan and asked if he was open to an alliance. There had been bad blood between us, but Con had wanted to make peace so that we could fight the demons together. Cadan refused. He said his people could stand alone. We haven't heard from them since. Cadan's not amongst the 11. The leader's an old warrior, even older than Gaul, who limps awkwardly and trembles pitifully when he's not in the move. He announces himself at the gate as Tiernan McAdam and requests entrance. The 11 trudge to the wrath and present themselves miserably, heads low. Con goes straight to Tiernan and clasps his hands warmly, welcoming him. He asks if they're hungry or thirsty. Tiernan says they are, and Con gives orders for a feast to be prepared. The women take to the task immediately. Con leads their guests to the area in front of the hut and lets them settle. They haven't brought much: spare clothes, a few weapons, some tools, but it's plain that that's all they have. I know what's happened, just as Con and everyone else knows, but nobody says anything. We let Tiernan explain. The demons overwhelmed them. The end had been coming for a long time, but they'd held out stubbornly, even past the point where they knew that it was folly. Their best warriors had fallen to the foul from Mori, their children had been taken, their animals slain, their crops destroyed. Many argued against staying, Tiernan says. We said it was madness, that we'd perish if we didn't join forces with our neighbours, but Cadan said we'd lose face if we retreated. He was a proud man, not for bending, but eventually, like all who refused to bend, he snapped. The Fomori took him last night, along with 3 others. This morning before the sun had risen, we packed our goods and marched here. We hope to fight with we hope to fight with you. Oh, to fight with you, to offer whatever aid we can. To he trails to a halt. 2 of the men are seriously injured, and Tiernan's no chick, spring chicken. One of the women is a warrior, but the other 2 aren't, and the children are too young to fight. Tiernan's trying to make it sound like we need them, that they can make a difference, but really they're just looking for sanctuary. Taking them in would be a mercy, not a murder. The men of the Wrath are sitting in a circle around the newcomers. I'm on the outskirts, only allowed this close in case of magical matters. I see doubt on the faces of most. We're already cramped. We'd need to expand the fort again to comfortably hold 11 people. That's hard to do when you're under attack from demons most nights. Tiernan senses the mood and speaks rapidly. We could build our own huts. Our women are skilled, the children too. We'd depend on your hospitality for a few weeks, but we'd work every hour and we can set up our own. We wouldn't be a burden, and when it comes to fighting, we're stronger than we look. Even the youngest child has drawn blood. We... Easy, friend, Con interrupts. We're pleased you came to us, when there are so many other clans that you could have gone to. It's an honour to receive you, and I'm sure you will be of great help. Tiernan blinks. He hadn't expected such a gracious welcome. After years of feuding, it's more than he dared hope. Tears well in his eyes, but he shakes them away and smiles. You are a true king, he compliments Con. And I hope a true friend, Con replies, then barks orders for beds to be made for McAdam. Some don't like it. Conla's face is as dark as a winter cloud, but no one's going to argue with our king, certainly not in front of the guests, so they obey without question, shifting beds, clothes, and goods from one hut to another, bunching up even closer than before, squashing each other together, making room for the new additions to our demon-tormented clan. No, that's long enough. We're going to leave it there, and we'll pick back up in a while, and I'll get that uploaded for you. Thanks for listening.